Hello, loving souls. Today we're going to talk about how to see non-dual reality in daily life. Most of us have noticed the source of all the conflicts in our life is fundamentally caused by this sense of separation. Having the sense of me versus everything else. I need to survive in this world. I need to achieve this. I need to have that thing. There seems never an end to this list. But fortunately, there is a way out from this never-ending cycle of conflicts. And it is to see the non-dual nature of reality. This means that we see life not as a small person that we call I, living in a vast, big world, but to see that I and the world are not separate, and they are fundamentally one inseparable thing. While there are many levels of understanding in non-duality, and they require persistent practice and direct experiences rather than mere intellectual understanding, nonetheless, today we're going to talk about some intellectual pointers that may help you with your practice and understanding. And hopefully, through these simple examples, you will be able to begin to take a glimpse into non-duality and see it as an actual reality rather than just a mere concept. So let's get started. The first thing I want to share is an observation in life that will help us set the foundation and will be a good analogy for the later point. So let me start with this question. Look around you. What do you see? If you're in a room, then you may say something like, I see objects like a table, a chair, a desk, and a room. Well, then let me ask you a follow-up question. How are you able to see all these objects with your eyes? Well, we all know that the reason is because there is some light source in our environment, and the light scatters around the environment. And some of that light gets reflected into our eyes. And through some activities of our neurons and cells, we're able to see them. Good. But let's not worry too much about the neurons, the brain, the cells for now, and just focus on the part of the light. One fact is that without the light, we will not be able to see any objects with our physical eyes at all. So let me ask you that question again. What do you really see? If we look close enough, we'll see that we don't really see the objects like the desks or chairs, but rather we're actually seeing the light. The chair did not really got into my eyes. What really got into my eyes is the light that shines upon the chair, and some of that light got absorbed by the chair, and the rest got reflected into my eye. And that's how I'm able to see the different colors and shadows. Ah, so now we see this first important observation. Throughout our lives, all we ever see are not really objects, but different appearances of light that appears to be different objects. And from this observation comes an important realization that the visual world that we see, as composed of countless many objects, is in fact composed of only one thing: light. So there is no real separation between the seeing of different objects. The vision that you see of different objects are fundamentally the same thing. Now, let's take this realization and go further. Instead of asking, "What do you see?" now we ask, "What does your consciousness perceive in this moment?" Well, you say, "I can see my surroundings. I can hear sounds. I can feel touch, the feeling of my body, my emotion, and I can perceive thoughts." Good. Now follow what we just talked about visual sight, where we discover that all we ever see is just light, and without light, we will not be able to see anything at all. Let's ask again, what do you perceive really? Just like objects in physical space, which requires light to shine upon them in order to be seen by you, these objects, sense perceptions, feeling of the body, emotions and thoughts, none of them can be perceived by you unless there is the light of consciousness shining upon them. In other words, all form, whether it's a sense of the body or a thought, they don't know themselves inherently, but you know them. So what are you perceiving really? And who are you really? If we ponder on this, we will see that all we are actually perceiving is just reflections of the light of consciousness. What appears to be the different objects are nothing more than different appearances of the same stuff called consciousness. And so who am I? I am that which knows. I am pure consciousness itself. And all that I see is just myself appearing as different forms. This consciousness does not have a cause. It cannot be achieved through any physical or mental efforts. It is always available, and it has always been my true nature, our true nature. So if you have been following so far, then welcome to non-duality, which ironically, it's something that we never really left. But also don't worry if you did not quite follow. Keep up with your practice, and everything will unfold at the right timing. Another thing I want to clarify here is that, in truth, consciousness is not an object that can be located. But this analogy to light is what I found to be useful in grasping this understanding. And if you have other ways to understand this, please feel free to leave a comment below. I hope we can inspire one another and deepen this understanding in our daily lives. Much love and light. See you in the next one.